Hello there, Tottenham fans. I've been listening to a lot of pundits lately. As you know, if you've been watching my last videos, you understand that I have a bit of a gripe with them at the moment, spreading false narratives left, right, and centre. So I want to talk a little bit about James Maddison today because he's had a lot of stick, a little bit from Roy Keane. Roy Keane saying that he'd pick a players over James Maddison for an England spot, which was very harsh in my opinion. And then we had Simon Jordan saying that he's flaky and you'd never win anything significant with this guy in your side. But I just want to squash all these stupid nonsense narratives yet again, as when you were compare him to these players that I'm going to compare him to in this video, I'm going to compare him to about 4 or 5 number 10s that play for different clubs in the Premier League. Good number 10s too, the ones that get really praised every single week, and Maddison gets criticised. But I'll compare his stats with theirs and prove that this is all nonsense. Yeah. Yes, we have to acknowledge that Maddison doesn't last 90 minutes in the game. Yes, we have to acknowledge he has bad games, but he has bad games. He's not the kind of player that will, makes what he will do. He won't be a best player on the pitch if the rest of the team are playing poor. I couldn't think of the word for it, but he's a kind of player that when the team's playing well, he's the best player in that team. And I'll give you a few stats of his so far this season. So James Maddison has played, and this is the important part. We know James Maddison's has injuries, and you can say these other players have had injuries too. But what I'll do then is I'll base it on the minutes he's played and compare the minutes he's played with the other players that have played, if that makes sense. So James Maddison's played 1,369 minutes. That equates to 15.2 games. 15.2 games he's played so far this season. He scored 9 goals and got 4 assists in the Premier League. So he's got 13 goal contributions in 15 appearances or 15 total games for Spurs. So, he's only started 16 matches this season. He's got 13 goal contributions, which for me, the numbers wise, that's very, very good considering the minutes that you've played. It's a very, very good return. Not only that, is in games as well, he's bossed that number 10 position and people couldn't get near him. The amount of times he gets fouled is unreal. So, and that flakiness as well, I just want to point out from Simon Jordan. Maddison has won 50, I think it's 53% of his duels. So he wins half of his ground duels. So he's not that flaky, is he? So let me just compare him now. I want to compare James Maddison to somebody who gets massively praised week in, week out. It's been said to been labelled as one of the best attacking midfielders in the Premier League. He's the guy that's going to take you to a title. Remember, Maddison couldn't do anything. You can't win anything significant with Maddison, but this guy's going to take you to a title. Let's tell you his Martin Odegaard. So far, he's played 1,377 minutes. And before you say he's been injured, he's played 8 minutes more than Maddison this season. And he scored 2 goals and 3 assists. He's got 5 goal contributions from one of the best attacking midfielders in the Premier League. Let that sink in. So the praise that Odegaard gets for hardly any numbers. I think Werner has got as many assists as this guy. And that is saying something. Timo Werner has got 3 assists, so has Martin Odegaard. That's crazy. Yeah? So if we think about the criticism that Maddison gets, it's absolute nonsense. Please don't listen to these people when they're trying to spread stupid narratives yet again. Right. I'm going to compare him now to someone else that gets massively praised all the time. And, he's probably got a bit of criticism this year, to be fair. But Phil Foden, he has played 1,443 minutes. So that's probably about 2 more games than James Maddison. And he scored 7 goals and got 2 assists. So he scored 2 less goals and 2 less assists than James Maddison. So Phil Foden is having a weaker season than James Maddison this season. There you go. But Foden will get praised, Maddison will get criticised. Why is that? Because he plays for Spurs. And that's why. Foden plays for Manchester City. Odegaard plays for Arsenal. They will get praised. So let's go talk, right? Let's talk about, and I don't want to compare him to, like, if I don't want to be accused of, you're just comparing him to people with worse stats than him. Okay. I'm going to compare him to somebody that's got better stats than Maddison, but he's classed as probably the best attacking midfielder in the Premier League. And in my opinion, I think he is. And it's a shame who he plays for. But Cole Palmer this season has played 2,193 minutes. That equates to 24.2 games. Yeah. And he scored 14 goals and got 6 assists. So he's got 5 more goals than Maddison and 2 more assists than Maddison. So he's basically got 7 more goal contributions than Maddison, but he's played 9 more games, 9 full more games than Maddison. So the numbers, really, if Maddison played 9 more games, he would be close to that if he was on form and Tottenham were playing well. So again, this criticism for Maddison against, and I've just compared him to, my opinion, the best forward number 10 player in the Premier League, and he's not far off his numbers either. It's insane. Cole Palmer, I'm not saying he's better than Cole Palmer, by the way, but Cole Palmer is the best and Maddison isn't. But I'm just saying Maddison's getting criticised a hell of a lot and he doesn't deserve it, in my opinion. I want to compare him now to Matheus Cunha. I hope I said that right. Cunha, the guy that plays for Wolves. So he's played 1,966 minutes. That equates to 21.8 games. That's 6 games more than Maddison. Now, this is a guy that all Spurs fans said they would love to have in the number 10 role. They'd love to have him in a team. He makes things click. He changes things. I agree with that. I think Cunha is a magnificent player. Cunha gets so much praise. But in those games, in those minutes that he's played, he's got 12 goals and 4 assists. So he's got the same amount of assists as James Maddison and 3 more goals. But remember, he's played 6 more games than Maddison if you equate the minutes. So again, Maddison's numbers are on par with Cunha, the guy that everyone says wants to replace Maddison, but Maddison's numbers are up there with his. And if Maddison had the same amount of minutes as Cunha, I'm sure his numbers will probably be the same or more. So this is insane. Like, you only have to Google, look, check stats, use your own mind and just see that when these pundits are just throwing out things that these players are not good enough and they don't contribute enough and they're flaky and it's nonsense. They've got an agenda and they want to just pick on someone for that day to just say that they're not good enough. And for me, I think Maddison's had a very good season. His best ever season, by the way, was 20 goal contribution. I think he got it for Leicester, 10 goals and 10 assists. I think that's what he got. I'm not 100% sure. You can quote me on that. You can't quote me on that, but it was so 20 goal contributions is his best ever season. And he was fit for a lot of that season, but he has got 13 goal contributions so far. So he's well on his way to his best ever Premier League season, and he's getting criticised. It is insane. I don't know what else to say about this, apart from just stop listening to these narratives, because these narratives are really starting to get on my nerves, and I'm going to prove them all wrong. As soon as I hear a narrative that people just seem to echo and copy and don't think for themselves, I'm going to call them out, and I'm going to keep doing it. Let me know in the comments what you think of Maddison's season so far, and have any of these stats actually shocked you? And come on, you Spurs.